All right, so we get into our weather. Yeah, it's been weather all night. More severe storms will be possible for southeast Wyoming on Monday. Let's start up here. That was today. The next 24 hours, same story. Nebraska, also through the evening as well. I mean, is it a surprise? Winter storm warning advisories for parts of southeast Wyoming. Jeez. Winter isn't over just yet. Winter storm warning in the pink. Winter weather advisory in the purple. Amazing we're still showing you these pictures. Oh, yesterday, almost June, up to 16 inches of snow likely for the Wyoming mountains. Wow, 6 to 12 inches of snow or likely higher amounts of 16 inches is expected in Wind River Mountains before 6 p.m., according to a winter storm warning updated early Tuesday morning. Now, I imagine they see a lot more snow than this in a real winter storm, but the fact that we're talking about 16 inches potential in May definitely warrants a winter storm warning alert for sure. But hey, guys, global warming, right? I mean, it's May 28th, global warming, snow. Okay. More live storms heading through right now as we speak, guys. Northern Kansas, reports of a massive tornado. That was in Pleasant. Oh, what was that? I forgot the name of the city in Kansas, but there was another area, Pleasant something. Kansas just had a tornado activity just a couple of hours ago. Right before we went on the air, they were showing the damage. Tuesday's severe storm forecasts include focus zone from central Texas to southern Iowa. This includes St. Louis, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, and sub-suburbs of Dallas. While large hail and damaging winds and flooding will be the main threats from these storms, danger of tornadoes cannot be overstated. DeLand, Illinois, 2.5 inches. Everest, Kansas, 2 inches in diameter. Monroe City of 1.75 inches. And Circleville, Kansas, 1 3/4 as well. The highest area risk of damaging storms and tornadoes will be northeastern Kansas and northern Missouri. Meanwhile, severe storms are expected to track across the mid-Atlantic and could spit up some tornadoes into Pennsylvania early Tuesday night. More of the same. That's a current look of our radar earlier this evening. That's what's going to look like tomorrow. Severe weather. Flash flood saga continues from the Midwest into the plains through midweek. Record low highs. Sacramento, California, 61 degrees. That's their record breaker there. 60 was the record in 2012. So basically, May 26th was the coldest, highest temperature in the history of Sacramento. 61 degrees was the high. Unreal. Warmth to ramp up in California, Southwest at late week following an unusually chilly weekend. So it looks like we are going to see some normality coming back to the Southwest region after these crazy temperatures. Also, I want to point out here in this map, this area is also going to become a little bit drier as well. We're not seeing the long-term precipitation forecast with a lot of moisture here. So common sense for us here at the Grand Solar Minimum channel and all of you followers out there, drier air, drier weather will accumulate to warmer temperatures, which is what's forecasted here in the near future. So the Southwest is going to get back to somewhat normal, nothing extreme, but just somewhere around average and normal. And let's go ahead and take a look at our GFS maps. First, let's go to Mike's weather page. Check out all of these storm warnings right now across Pennsylvania. Parts of Ohio were in danger. Actually, there was more hail reported today in Salina, Ohio. So after the tornado that took the life of 1 person and injured 7, you had to deal with hail as well tonight. And of course, I'm sure it was a frightening time after already going through what you've already seen. Here we're looking at flash floods here. Flash flood warnings, flash flood watches. The yellow is tornado watches. Just a big mess right now on this weather map, and the same areas are going through this every night, it seems like. Oklahoma, northern Texas, Kansas, parts of Nebraska, northwestern parts and southeastern parts of Nebraska are affected. Iowa, most of Iowa. I mean, it just doesn't feel like we're getting a break anytime soon. Look at this. This is the recent imagery from our satellite. Just an explosion over Iowa of just precipitation round after round here, and it's just going to get worse overnight. So that is the new area of focus that we're watching right now. Let's go take a live look at windy.com. And we will take a look at our lightning strikes. Right now we're looking at Peoria is getting ready to get slammed. Several severe thunderstorm watches are still in effect, severe thunderstorm warnings. Kansas City, you're finally out of this. Kearney is just now getting out of this as well. Plenty of lightning to go around with these rounds of storms, guys. So let's get right to the meat of the bone. Taking a look at GFS. The pattern that we've seen for the last 7 to 10 days, hanging around again. Not done yet. Wednesday, more intense storms over the same areas of Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, parts of southwest Ohio, northern Texas, and parts of Oklahoma once again will flare up. More moisture to Arkansas, Missouri, heading across the eastern to the Mississippi, Ohio River. Southern parts of Illinois will see the effects of heavy rain into the northeast by midweek to late week, as heavy rain across northeastern Ohio into western Pennsylvania. Moderate rain showers in the south, and then a bit of high pressure tries to settle over the center part of the United States, trying to keep it dry, and for the most part it's working. But here we see on June 1st another system trying to get its act together, but high pressure still dominating. GFS is trying to indicate that these storms that we keep seeing, like what we're looking at right here for June 2nd, is what we're currently going through. It seems to be that there's something not agreeing with some of these models. So we'll have to just keep a closer eye on this. But to me, when you look at this GFS long-term forecast, every other day there is a line of storms developing like this. So here's the 4th, here's the 2nd, there's the 1st. So the 1st, here's that line. 2nd, there's that line. 3rd, there's that line. 4th, there's that line. And the line that I'm referring to, folks, right here, every time. Instant action, every day. Right up and down from Minnesota all the way down to Mexico. And this just continues to go west to east every day. So where are we supposed to find time in the fields? June 5th, bam, another line of storms. Look at that. 24 hours after, the atmosphere is reloading almost every 24 hours. June 6th, here we go. Another fire up of storms that start up on the western side of Texas. This is scary. Every day, the same areas are firing up with storms from June 1st all the way through June 6th and June 7th. Guess what? More storms firing up in that same line, moving further west this time, and then going to the east by the 8th. Now, this is too far out for the GFS to give us exact, but look, it's like a pulse, guys. Every day, that same spot. And there is finally some relief on the horizon for the middle part of the United States, of Texas anyway. Not for the northern plains. More rain showers will move across the area. But the last day of formation of these lines of storms going straight up from northern Mexico through Texas, New Mexico, Colorado. So from June 1st through June 6th, folks out there in the Central Plains, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wisconsin, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. It is going to be a very bumpy ride over the next 7 to 10 days. I'm not so sure about how severe the weather is going to be, but as far as the persistence of moisture that we're going to see. Here is our all the way through June 13th. Where I'm going with this is this picture. Every time we show you guys this, almost like once a week, we keep seeing the purples in the same spots and the yellows in the same spots. And you're saying, well, Jake, it's starting to like, this is the third time you showed it and we're not seeing the yellows this time. Well, that's great, because we've been showing you the yellows in every 14-day forecast the last 2 times we've shown it. So this is the first time a 14-day forecast is not showing a bunch of yellow, but we know areas like right in here, this is where we cannot have any more than a ½ inch of rain before we see flash flooding. This area right here. And we're expecting anywhere from 1 inch to 4 inches of rain. Over and over and over again. Guys, all I can say is that our thoughts and prayers go out to everyone who is affected in these regions of storms, from Dayton, Ohio to Oklahoma City to Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is now underwater, parts of Arkansas, Mississippi. There's just too many areas to mention that are experiencing such tragedy right now of loss of property, loss of your whole life workings, gone, and a pattern of weather that doesn't seem to let up anytime soon. Murray, that's all I got for tonight. Did you want to say hello to anybody before we... I know I covered a lot tonight, and I hope I didn't forget anything, but wow, there was quite a bit to go through, and I probably undersold a few things of it.
Well, that, and we have hurricane season to look forward to on top of everything you just spoke of, Jake.
Knocking on the door, yeah, just in 2 days.
Speaking of that, the kid meteorologist stopped by to say hi.
Hey,
I
bud.
love him. He is a little prodigy in progress with the weather reporting.
Keep doing what you're doing, bud. He's
really
doing fine.
Him popping in. So I had a
Good
bunch
kid.
of notes from the chat because we had a pretty active chat today. I closed out of the document without saving it, so bear with me here. I'm going to go from memory. Matt Bros is in the chat. You were talking with him, so I just want to say hello to him. We know what he's going through. Where is he from again?
I don't remember exactly what part of Nebraska, but he's out of
struggling
Nebraska.
with his...
That was the one I was telling you about the cattle feed.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, that's just awful to hear. Ian is providing the comedic relief in the chat. As always, Ian, we do love you. Then people are, ragging on CNN and their climate reporting and blaming CO2 for everything and not really associating the solar influence on the weather. Doug Ellens wants to know, what do you think about tornadoes next year?
I mean, I'm not a channel of prediction, honestly.
I said that to him as well.
I didn't really know that we were going to see the outbreak that we've seen this year, but I guess the more I think about it, with El Nino being a factor and that warm, moist air coming from the Gulf colliding with that very cold atmosphere. Our atmosphere is super cold right now anyway. So I think there's a connection with that, with the severe weather outbreak that we've seen. But honestly, I mean, I'm not into the predictions. All I can tell you is what I've observed. And that's something that's a little bit out of my league, honestly, as far as predicting severe weather next year. Each year is going to add a different ingredient to the atmosphere. So we'll just have to play this one by ear. We're going into uncharted territories right now.
I don't think there's a lot of rhyme or reason with these tornado outbreaks, to be honest, from my research. Like last year was not very active, was it?
Well, again, it could be attributed this year to the fact that our atmosphere is a lot cooler than what it was last year as well. So, I mean, no, last year was horribly inactive. And, so if you thought last year was boring, we thought, well, maybe we'll see more of the same this summer because we had a similar winter and similar late winter going into spring. But we have seen quite the opposite this year from last year.
Bonnie shared what she's seeing in Kansas. Bark has blown off the trees.
Jeez.
So I'm sure there's going to be some interesting footage that we'll be sharing tomorrow.
And Kansas is already windy.
I mean,
by the way, it's normally windy anyway, so that's big when you've got bark flying off the tree in Kansas.
This storm footage is overwhelming to see back to back to back to back to back to back for months on end. today it took a toll on you, Jake.
I'm not gonna lie,
having to see your hometown
very hard tonight,
ripped apart, and then also you were wondering where your friends and family were, if they're okay, what kind of problems they're experiencing. So it's been a tough day for you, and I appreciate the extra time you took to do this live show and answer some questions. So that's all I really got. There's loads of people talking in the chat. It's hard to keep up with everything. I just want to say hello to everyone. Thank you very much for sharing your time with us. And definitely like and share, get the information out. These views are being suppressed.
Big time. And
people need to know about these flood events. And I was actually discussing with Thor in the chat, Thor Valhalla, about the hydrologist, world-renowned hydrologist, speaking about the Mississippi River being in danger of being captured by the Atchafalaya River. How do you pronounce that?
No idea.
I don't know. And I'm in the process of researching that. Hopefully we can get a hold of that hydrologist and speak with him about that. It's just, there's a lot of flooding that's not being talked about, a lot of concerns that are going to be creeping up over the next few weeks. Are going to be releasing water from, which dam was that we were talking about yesterday? Hard to keep everything straight.
It's hard to keep it straight. Listen, we talked about the damage from this storm here in Dayton and how ironic some of the damage that happened. There's a lot of concern. This is getting serious because, again, this is happening in our own backyards now. These areas that were hit, some of these parts in Ohio were in areas that families don't earn a lot in income. So these folks are really going to struggle in the comeback process. They already didn't have much in the first place. Now it's going to be even harder for some of these, not all, but some of these folks to recover what they've lost. And it's just one of hundreds of stories that we've told so far this year with the severe weather, the flash flooding, the tornadoes, everything, snowfall, cold, So the story goes on, guys, and we will be back again probably Thursday night with another. Actually, it's more like Friday. It's gonna have to be Friday.
It's up to you, boss.
It's gonna be Friday. Friday night will be our next.
A video unless
Mario will be producing, but unless we have something like this happening again, we will come in live with any breaking news information. Until then, guys, we will see you again live on Friday night unless further notice needs us to be earlier than that. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will talk soon.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.